bottoms are made in any market. I don't care if you're in equities or in debt or in crypto or in real estate. You always need a big player to go to zero. That always helps, whether it's long-term capital or whether it's one of these crypto infrastructure companies. I would like to see, and I don't want this to happen, but it always gives you a good bottom when you get a large player over levered that goes to zero. And that always tends to be the beginning of the rebuilding process. So if you have to sacrifice someone who used too much leverage, and it's always leverage that does this, somebody's over levered, positions are complicated, they're not transparent, they're not liquid, and they go to zero. Someone is out there on the brink of zero. That's okay. In fact, I'd argue that's a good thing when we get it. Now, do we get it this week? Do we get it next week? Someone's going to zero. I don't know who, but it'll be great for everybody else that survives because everybody will learn from that. And that's what I like about a washout, an event. And I think we're due for one in crypto land. And I don't know who it's going to be, but I guarantee you 100%, I've seen this movie before, you will learn later that somebody put on a heavily
up a very complicated situation. So yes, as you said, this story came to light after my colleague Ian Allison at CoinDesk kind of had this incredible scoop looking at Alameda's balance sheet and showing that much of it was FTX own token FTT. So this raises a lot of questions about the crypto industry, in particular, two real weaknesses in the crypto industry. One is a lack of transparency. Like, why did this come to light via CoinDesk and not via a more traditional means of disclosure? I mean, if Ian had not received that private document and not brought this to light, would people just not know this is going on? I mean, that's a real question about transparency and disclosures. That's one. And then the second one,
would Coinbase consider buying FTX US?
So, I had a number of conversations with people over the last 24 hours, and there's reasons why that would not make sense, and I'm not quite at liberty to share the details right now. I think I'm going to let other people share that if and when they're ready, or it'll probably all come out eventually. And I think, Binance, I'm sure, is looking at the details of this transaction as well to see if it makes sense for them. But yeah, I mean, look, we're in a position where we really just want to focus on building our own products, and it may be a bad situation if this deal doesn't go through for the customers involved, and so I have a lot of sympathy for that. But it's not something where we felt we had the opportunity to come in and acquire that would make sense for us or their customers.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And we have the big news of the day that Coinbase may be buying the assets of FTX.com. And on CNBC, guys, that's right, on CNBC, they say that this all started from a leaked document from Alameda Research. Now, guys, who leaked the document to CoinDesk? And let's look up and see who owns CoinDesk. That's right, Digital Currency Group. That's like TMZ saying something was linked to them, the Alphabet Boys. Guys, I give you the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. And guys, this is all a bigger plot from the central banks. Crypto dropped close to $100 billion. There are plenty of cryptos that have no type of attachment to this situation. And guys, we know we have over 21,000 cryptos. And we have the central banks ready to roll out their stablecoins and their CBDCs. And what has Christine Lagarde constantly stated? What has Janet Yellen constantly stated? What has Jerome Powell constantly stated? That the central bank's money is the most trusted money. And that's the reason why we haven't had any regulation. So therefore, they can pull off schemes like this. Remember, they're the master magicians. They will keep you distracted. And they're going to play off events like this. So then therefore, they can say, you don't want any bank runs. You don't want to lose your money. You want these trusted stable coins and CBDCs from the government because we're able to back it. But guys, the reason why we fell $100 billion, because we know the Fed is going to bring the house down. Not just in cryptos, but in stocks also. And we had Brian Armstrong from Coinbase speak about the situation, saying that Coinbase is regulated, which we know is not true. We don't have any regulation in crypto whatsoever. And we know Gary Gensler has stated that Coinbase has securities on its exchange. But if we look at FTX, and what FTX said they wanted to do was cut out the middleman. And you know I've been over several times, it's not going to happen. We know these CEOs of these exchanges are nothing but puppets. Their job is to get us moved over to the digital economy. And when we look at Binance, I know I used to use Binance all the time until they shut us down in the United States. And of course, we have Binance US. Same thing with FTX.com. And then, of course, you have FTX.US. But if you take a step back and look at Binance, I definitely see CZ heading off in the sunset soon. And that exchange gets turned over to China. And remember, the crypto teacher told you first. And guys, we've seen this movie before. We saw the consolidation in big tech, and we're starting to see the big consolidation over in crypto. 2023 and 2024, guys, we know are the building years. But there's going to be a lot of pain, because we're going to see the fall of America to Babylon along with the United States World Reserve Currency. And the rise of China, the dragon with the digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Crazy day in the crypto markets. What happened today from your purview?
Yeah, well, it's hard to judge too much until all the facts are in, but it appears that FTX got into a bit of a liquidity crunch, and there was some risky behavior that they were engaging in. And, it appears that Binance is wanting to come in here and acquire FTX. But we'll see if that deal goes through. And I think the broader story that, as I think about it, just zooming out, is that over the last few years, companies like Coinbase that are pursuing a trusted and regulated approach, we've been trying to seek regulatory clarity. And sometimes in the absence of that, we've seen customers basically going offshore to these offshore unregulated exchanges. And occasionally we're going to see blowups like this, I think, unless that is resolved somehow. So this is a validation of our strategy that we've been taking for the long term. And I think that's what we've been seeing in these recent markets.
Liquidity and how fickle it is or isn't. How do you prevent liquidity crunches from happening?
Yeah, well, in Coinbase's case, this kind of liquidity crunch is not possible to happen because we're not, investing customer funds. We're not, doing market making or engaged in any kind of complex arrangement with other, parties that we own. It's very simple. We're regulated as a custodian and a brokerage and an exchange. We hold all of the customer assets one-to-one backed. So if customers want to come and withdraw those funds, even 100% of them, that's fine. They can withdraw all of it at once. And as a public company, our financial statements are audited and anybody can go and see them. So these are the kinds of things that I think help make us a trusted platform. And unfortunately, again, in these kind of offshore unregulated exchanges, it's a little unclear exactly how their financial statements are orchestrated and what their relationships are with these other third parties. What's happening with customer funds? Is it being loaned out without their permission? And so hopefully this is a good reminder to everybody that, having trusted companies in the space is what's going to help this space grow over the long term. I don't think our strategy changes here. So, first off, we try not to look at too much of what competitors are doing. We try to just look at what our customers want and focus on that. I also think that, by the way, most of the interactions we have with our competitors in space they're cooperative, they're friendly. We're trying to grow the whole space 100x, and it's not so much a competitive thing most of the time. But that being said, I do think, Binance and Coinbase are taking pretty different approaches, and we're building in a very trusted, compliant way. We're trying to go get licenses in the countries where we operate. We're also not just a trading platform. We don't think trading is the be-all, end-all of crypto, although we have really good products in that space. The reason I got into this and I got excited about it is I want there to be a more fair and free and global financial system where there's more economic freedom. And so we're enabling people through our products to do all kinds of things with crypto, including earning a living and paying for things and commerce and remittance and peer-to-peer payments and even accessing Web3 in the world of dApps out there. So we're going to continue to build towards that. Our strategy doesn't change, but I do think this could have an impact in terms of the regulatory landscape, and how policymakers are going to engage with different parties.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.